All right, let's talk about something that could genuinely save you thousands of dollars. And I'm not exaggerating. We're diving into the truth about synthetic oil, and what you're about to hear could prevent a total disaster for something you probably use every single day, your car's engine.
So let's just kick this off with a pretty wild number. Check this out. A full 70% of major engine failures, they're not just some random unlucky event. Nope, they are completely preventable. Think about that. Most of the time an engine dies way before it should, the owner could have actually done something to stop it.
And when one of those preventable failures happens, oof, it hurts the wallet. We're talking an average hit of $7,000 for a big repair or a whole new engine. I mean, that's a dream vacation, a new kitchen, a huge piece of your savings, just gone.
So that really brings us to the $7,000 question, right? How do you make sure you're not in that 70% club? Well, believe it or not, it often comes down to one of the simplest, most overlooked choices any of us make for our cars: what kind of oil you pour into it.
And here's the crazy part. The problem isn't that good oil is hard to find. It's everywhere. The real issue is all the myths and just plain bad advice floating around. It's this misinformation that tricks even the most careful drivers into making a bad choice, and it just silently eats away at their engine year after year.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to arm you with the facts. We're going to bust the 5 biggest myths about synthetic oil, the ones that are costing people a ton of money, and we'll show you exactly what you need to know to keep your car and your wallet safe.
Okay, let's get right to it. Myth number 1, and this is the big one. You've been there, right? Standing in the aisle at the auto parts store looking at 2 bottles of oil. One is way more expensive, and you can't help but think, is this synthetic stuff really better, or is it just a marketing gimmick? Totally fair question. And the answer is, no, it's not just hype.
Here's the best way I've heard it explained. Think of conventional oil, the stuff refined from crude oil, like it's unfiltered tap water. Sure, it'll work, but it's got all sorts of impurities and different sized molecules floating around. Synthetic oil, on the other hand, is engineered from the ground up in a lab. It's like pure bottled water. Every single molecule is perfectly uniform and clean, all designed to give the best possible protection. That's not marketing. That's just a better product, plain and simple.
All right, myth number 2. This one's an oldie but a goodie. It's been floating around for decades, and it absolutely terrifies people with older cars. The story goes that synthetic oil is just too thin or too slippery, and that if you put it in an older engine, it's going to find its way right through your old seals and create a giant oil slick in your driveway. But is that really what's going on?
So here's the real deal. Synthetic oil doesn't cause leaks, it reveals them. See, over time, cheaper conventional oil can leave behind gunk and sludge. And that sludge can actually act like a temporary, crusty patch over a gasket that's already failing. When you pour in that high-quality synthetic, its powerful cleaning agents get to work and wash all that sludge away, which then exposes the leak that was hiding underneath all along. It's not creating a new problem, it's just showing you an old one that you really needed to know about.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is exactly what any good mechanic will tell you. The pro tip is to check those common leak spots, like the valve cover gasket or the oil pan gasket, before you make the switch. If you see a little seepage, fix it first. Then you can switch over to synthetic with absolutely no worries.
Now we get to myth number 3, and honestly, this might be the most tempting and the most dangerous one of all. You see it right there on the bottle in big, bold letters, protection for 15,000 miles, and you think, wow, I could save so much time and money. But here's the catch. That promise is based on perfect laboratory conditions, and your car definitely doesn't live in a lab.
Look, the oil itself might be able to last that long in a sealed test engine running at a constant speed. But your car? It deals with stop-and-go traffic, dust, short trips where the engine never really warms up. All that stuff contaminates the oil and just clogs up your filter way, way faster. That's why pretty much every expert and mechanic out there will tell you the same thing. 5,000 to 7,500 miles. That's the real-world sweet spot for actually protecting your engine.
Okay, so we've tackled the most common myths, but now we're going to get into the big one. The secret that really separates the drivers who know from everyone else. And it's this: thinking that any bottle that says synthetic on the front is good enough. That belief, that is probably the single most expensive mistake you can make with your car. You have to remember, modern engines are these incredibly high-tech, finely tuned machines. Your car's manufacturer doesn't just recommend an oil weight, like 0W20. They demand a specific performance certification, an OEM spec, that the oil absolutely must meet,
It's designed to protect very specific parts inside that very specific engine.
And trust me, these aren't just polite suggestions. Ignoring them has huge consequences. For example, if you've got a Volkswagen and you use an oil that doesn't have that VW 5400 certification on the back, you're risking a catastrophic timing chain failure. Got a BMW? The wrong oil leads to premature wear. Even on a Toyota or Honda, grabbing the wrong bottle can mess with your fuel economy. It really matters.
And just in case you think this is a small detail, let's talk numbers. That timing chain failure on the VW we just talked about, the repair bill for that starts at $3,000. Suddenly, saving $10 on a jug of uncertified oil doesn't seem like such a great deal, does it? It's a terrible gamble.
All right, enough with the myths and the warnings. Let's get to the good stuff. After clearing all that misinformation out of the way, what actually happens when you use the right oil, the correct certified synthetic oil for your car? What are the real benefits you're going to see?
Well, there are 4 huge ones, and this is exactly why car makers put synthetic in their cars right at the factory. First, it flows way faster on cold starts, which is where most engine wear happens. Second, it stands up to insane heat, which is crucial for today's turbo engines. Third, its cleaners actually stop that gunky, power-robbing sludge from ever building up. And what's the end result of all that? It's simple, a much healthier engine that can easily go for hundreds of thousands of miles.
So when you put it all together, it really just comes down to a simple choice. Let's paint a picture. Imagine 2 people buy the exact same car on the exact same day. Let's see what happens over the next 10 years.
Okay, so you've got driver A. They always buy the cheapest oil they can find, and they buy into that 15,000-mile change myth. Fast forward 10 years, and their engine is full of sludge, gets terrible gas mileage, and they're staring down the barrel of a $5,000 rebuild. Now look at driver B. They use the correct, certified synthetic oil and change it religiously every 5,000 miles. Their engine is purring like a kitten, the car is worth more when they go to sell it, and they've avoided a massive repair bill. They actually saved a ton of money.
I mean, when you look at it like that, it's not even a close call, is it? So the question is, which one of those drivers do you want to be? That tiny bit of extra money for the right oil is, without a doubt, the cheapest insurance you will ever buy for your car's engine.
Because in the end, it all boils down to one simple, powerful truth that every smart car owner knows. Oil is cheap, engines are not. It's as simple as that.